Hello, everyone. Good to see you again. Spend some time with the air. Today, I'm going to have a different subject than I normally do. I will be talking about Rhabarbarum Delight. It is a product that we developed, a specific type, and it's made of rhubarb. The main thing that I want to discuss about the word Rhabarbarum, I have a little story I want to share that I've come to know. Rhabarbarum is a Latin word for rhubarb. And specifically, the strain that we have here is called Rhabarbarum. But in short, it is Rhabarbarum without naming the specific species of rhubarb it is. Now, Rhabarbarum is a Latin word that originated long ago, way back in, when the Silk Wagon Road and the trading was going on in Europe. Now, the word Rhabarbarum, I have to break it up in two parts because this is how the word came about. The word Ra stands for the word Ra River, which is today known as the Volga River that runs into the Caspian Sea from Russia. And in those days, it was called the Ra River. And that's where the word Ra comes from. And barbarum comes from the word barbarus, which is also a Latin word, and the Greek have a meaning for it, which means everyone but the Greek. But today is known as barbarian, the word barbarus. So it doesn't really mean anymore today, everyone but the Greek. But in those days, that's what it was referred to, the word barbarus was barbarian. So therefore, the people on the other side of the Ra River, which they considered to be barbarian, and this is how the word came about, because the people on the other side of the Ra River were the only people that actually, or should I say, not the only people, the only place in the world that rhubarb actually grew was on the other side of the Ra River. So rhubarb grew nowhere else in the world at one time. Now, going back, way back in that time when they came up with the word, which basically the word was the people on the other side of the Ra River, which they considered as barbarian, which the word derived to as the Rhabarbarum. Now, Rhabarbarum at that time, or should I say rhubarb, at that time was not really commonly known for the rhubarb fruit, what we today use. In those days, rhubarb was mainly used for the root, and it was used for the medicinal purposes in those days. And it was sold on the Silk Wagon Road or traded along the Silk Wagon Road. And in those days, only actually the rich people could really afford it, like the royal kings, emperors, and of course, the wealthy individual could afford this interesting medicine, which only grew on the other side of the Ra River. And it was used for several purposes. Two of the main purposes that it was used for was for a laxative. So, and the other one was menstrual pain for women, and any other item that would fit with that type of discomfort, it would relieve. So, rhubarb root was not used to consume as a fruit in those days. It was mainly used for medicinal purpose from the root. So the people on the other side of the Ra River, they used to it used to grow wild. Actually, I cannot say they cultivated it, but there was definitely rhubarb in that region, and the only place that they could find it all over on Earth. But eventually, as time went along, they have tried to take rhubarb to other places in the world. They failed in the beginning, but after a long time, the British managed to get a strain to Britain and start it. And then from there, of course, it developed around the whole world, and it became a very popular item, especially in the early years through the 1900 till I think probably late 1960, and then it sort of became a sort of more moderate item that is available anywhere in the world. I suppose you can order it. In the West, it is available annually, when of course rhubarb is in season, but it's not as largely used and widely as it was one time. But it is though used for many things like rhubarb pie, strawberry rhubarb pie, and other type of desserts and delicacy that they can make from it, which is plenty. But they don't currently use it much for medicinal purpose, the root, but it can be though used for it if it ever needed to be in the future, if medicine becomes short or something, or an emergency reason. But rhubarb has other qualities as well. For example, one of the qualities that rhubarb has, it's very low in calories for one. So, of course, for people who are trying to lose weight, that is much, it's an item for them to eat. But what is more even interesting is that by consuming rhubarb, any portion of the rhubarb, whatever it may be, no matter what form or what way or what type or what variety, by consuming it over 4 days, you will lose 15% of your cholesterol, or reduce 15% of your cholesterol, which is quite an impact for just simply eating rhubarb. So for those people with high cholesterol, I would recommend strongly to have a rhubarb treat now and then to reduce their cholesterol by natural method, or natural medicinal purposes, way organically, rather than using medicine or other forms that people normally do to reduce their cholesterol. But to tell you a little bit more about rhubarb, the name, how it came stemmed from the people of the Raw River, and because they were considered barbarians in those days, so the combination of those two words, from the Raw River and the barbarian, this is how the word originated, Rhabarbarum, which is a Latin word known as rhubarb. But now, of course, when you look, you will find that it has an added word to it, which is Rhabarbarum. And the word rum is basically telling you what strain of rhubarb it is. And a rum is a specific strain that is widely grown around everywhere, or that grows well outside of the Raw River where it originated long ago. And so it has these qualities. A is, of course, low on cholesterol because it has virtually nothing in it. And the other thing, of course, it also additional plus, it also reduces your cholesterol by 15% if you try some of it once in a while. And the other thing as well, the root itself can be used for medicinal purpose in many forms, for laxative. And it is listed in the health, under the health, medicinal purpose for the organic, under the laxative, which the rhubarb root is listed on. So I recommend that you strongly try rhubarb treat if you're one who needs cholesterol reduced in some way or another. But in general, I just try it anyway because it's actually a good item and a good treat to have if it's done right and made well. Now, if you do want some rhubarb treat, we do have a treat that we specifically developed that's really delicious. And we found out that we had an exceptional market research, meaning people loved it, and we had a great review back, and we call it Rhabarbarum Delight. Now, Rhabarbarum Delight is mixed with different types of fruit. For example, apple, cherry, plum, banana, pineapple, whatever. Basically, it's mixed with, it's all 100% organic. It's mixed with rhubarb and a little bit of another fruit to give it additional that flavor, and it makes it a delicious item to eat. Now, what we do is that we put the two items together the rhubarb and whatever fruit we pick, and what we do is dry it, and it becomes a fruit lather type product, basically dried fruit. And what's so interesting is about this dried fruit that we do, it is what do you call it? It is it is cooked, so therefore it is not a raw product of any kind, and and it is very delicious. You should try some, and if you wish, you can reach out to us and ask for Rhabarbarum Delight, and you can even ask what flavors we have at that time on hand, and maybe we can offer you some if you like to. Well, I hope you had fun today. It was a different subject than I normally talk about, and it was something different just to change things and have a little bit of fun. This is more for history, and hopefully you had fun, and I hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.